Leave your precepts and concepts alone. Past this point is the Freethought Zone.
Kicking it into high gear and banging away on 8 cylinders. It's Mark Mythos in the Freethought Zone. Got a pretty rockin' show coming your way today, and I think it's going to be very visually stunning as well. We're going to talk about a 760 million mile per gallon car. Shh. Don't ask, don't tell goes bye-bye-bye. And wrapping up a series on Apollonius of Tyana. Some new updates on the website. We'll give you the 411 on that. Word! And some really dumb news coming up in the zone. It's Mark Mythos at markmythos.com. Also up on Facebook, YouTube, and Google videos as well. Damn, we're just going global, going viral with this program. I want to talk to you about your car today and technology that could make a car go 760 million miles on a gallon of water. It's some radical stuff coming to you in the zone today. Don't ask, don't tell goes bye-bye-bye. Thanks to the Obama administration and the voice of the people. Nice to have you here on this particular program. And we're going to talk about your car and some really dumb news here as well. Yeah, there's some technology that I think could be put into play. You have to, excuse me, a little bit of a head cold. That could actually make cars almost run indefinitely without much of a carbon footprint, but it might have a small uranium footprint as well. So we'll talk about that. We'll get into Obama and the don't ask, don't tell policy going bye-bye, where gays and lesbians and transgendered and bisexual people finally openly will be able to serve in the military. That's a great development, and we'll get into that in just a second.
It's time for really dumb news.
Speaking of which, the Obama administration last week did announce that beginning September the 1st of this year, Operation Iraqi Freedom will have its name changed to Operation New Dawn. In February of this year, a memo to the commander of Central Command, General David Petraeus, Defense Secretary Robert Gates says the requested operation name change is approved to take effect September the 1st of this year, coinciding with the change of mission for U.S. forces in Iraq. The move, Gates writes, also presents opportunities to synchronize strategic communication initiatives, reinforce our commitment to honor the security agreement, and recognize our evolving relationship with the government of Iraq. That name was selected over runner-up names like, General Petraeus and the Goblet of Fire, National Lampoon's Baghdad Vacation, and the third runner-up was Iraq War II Electric Boogaloo. Hey, sports fans have been wondering why U.S. Olympic speed skating champ Apollo Anton Ono takes a big yawn before every one of his events. Well, a friend of Ono's who asked not to be named because Apollo wouldn't like it a lot, revealed that the yawning lets extra oxygen into his lungs in the seconds before bursting across the ice. And Ono himself kind of claimed as much the other day, saying to Yahoo Sports, "It makes me feel better. It lets in oxygen and gets the nerves out." Ono says it's not only getting in more oxygen to his body and to his brain, but it's also because he's been watching that women's curling for a little while. And I'm not talking about, with a hot iron on your head, It's what a boring sport that's got to be. And she pushes the curl. And they're shaving the ice. Ooh. Speaking of your car, is that your car, dude? Well, we need to seriously talk about that. I did the math on how many gallons of air go through the average V8 motor in the space of an hour. Let me give you the figures here. We're going to do some math. It's pretty doggone interesting. I did the math once on how many gallons of air a 5-liter V8 engine pollutes in an hour at 2,000 RPMs. It comes up to 150,000 gallons of air, and I'm talking about actual gallons. I do the conversion for those of you listening overseas, but this is America, okay? That's 1.25 gallons, which is roughly equal to 5 liters, okay? We were talking about a 5-liter 302 V8 engine, just to give you sort of the math there. Let me increase the size of this and see if that does any better. That's 1.25 gallons. It's roughly equal to 5 liters. In other words, if you take a 5-liter motor and you turn it over once, you will process 1.25 gallons of air. This is something I've been wanting to share with you folks for quite a while, and I lost the email and I had to redo the math. At 2,000 RPMs, you're talking 2,500 gallons per minute of air that goes through the cylinders. 60 minutes equals 150,000 gallons per hour on the highway at 2,000 gallons. Okay, that's if you were going 60 miles an hour and at 2,000 RPMs, roughly where most cars would go, in an hour you would suck in and pollute 150,000 gallons per hour. Now in 6.6 hours, that car would pollute 1 million gallons of air. Not all the air is polluted, but that's how much it would run through the combustion chambers, just to give you some idea of what's going on every time you drive your car. And, sort of the old adage is out of sight, out of mind. Yeah, because you don't see the pollution coming out of your tailpipe, you're probably not going to notice it. I'm going to do something here while we're speaking on the fly, give myself a little bit of light on the subject here. Because it's colorless, it's not odorless, carbon dioxide, but because it's colorless, you just don't see it. Okay, let's get back to doing a little bit of the math here, shall we? Right back to the desk. Run all of those for an hour, and you get, there's your 600 million cars by 150,000 gallons per hour, apostrophe, 90 billion gallons of air per hour if all those cars ran 5-liter motors for an hour. Isn't that pretty amazing? It's pretty shocking, actually, what we don't think about when we choose to drive gas-burning and use fossil fuels in that sense. Well, we're going to go into a website here that is sort of something that's not new to me. I've been on this for a while, and I've been wanting to present this here for quite some time. This is an interesting use of technology. This guy says, I want to tell you a little bit about a technology I call the 760 million mile per gallon carburetor. No, my fingers did not linger too long on the M key. That means 1,000 miles per gallon. The numerically inclined among you probably wonder why I chose to say thousands instead of simply a million, or why I used two capitals, MS, instead of a single M, but I'll leave that as a mystery to the end of my story. He says, let me say this a bit more clearly. There is a technology that's been around for a little more than 6 decades that's the functional equivalent of a carburetor that enables a comfortably sized automobile, that would be your car, my car, to travel 760 million miles per gallon. After finishing my story, the second mystery that I want you to think about is who's responsible for obscuring the potential for this technology. Who do you think it might be? He says, have you ever seen a shooter marble? Those little, not a steely, but kind of the little bit bigger marbles. They're the large marbles that you use to knock smaller marbles out of the circle. He talks about uranium. You could get that is the size of a physical pound of uranium, small amount of rather dense material that currently sells for about $8 to licensed consumers. Okay, as you can imagine, it's pretty easy to hold 3 shooters in your hand. Shooters made of uranium would also be easy to hold in your hand, but they would weigh a good deal more than the glass-used shooters. Those uranium shooters, however, would contain approximately as much energy as 30 tanker trucks full of oil.
Past this portal, you're free to roam on the fringe of the Freethought Zone.